It's Michelle Cottle here with Gary Kasparov, the, of course, chess legend who is now a activist for a democratic Russia. And you just finished talking to Eli kind of about your work and what you see as important. And I wanted to follow up on, you were talking about how important it is kind of with President Obama to the image he sends in terms of his relationship with Putin. Now, he, on Tuesday, finally accepted an invitation to come to Russia. So what would you like him to say, or kind of the message to come out of that meeting?
I don't think that any message from that meeting will be important for building relations with Russian people. It's an official state meeting, and I'm sure, President Obama can't avoid meetings with Chinese president, Russian president, no matter what he thinks about their policies. It's a geopolitical reality, and he has to abide by it. But I expect President Obama to deliver a speech that will be aimed at Russian people, where he will share with them the ideas of freedom and democracy, and will communicate Americans' desire to build friendship with Russian people, not with those who are now in charge of Russia and Kremlin.
Now, are you more hopeful for the second term having a better impact? Or?
Oh, we all are able to learn, and I hope that this administration will learn from its spectacular failure in promoting the reset policy, and it's time to recognize that Putin's values, the values that Putin promote in Russia and outside of Russia, they're very different from the set of values that I believe are still making the core of U.S. domestic and foreign policy.
Do you think that that's the biggest misperception, or just kind of the misunderstanding that American politicians tend to have about Putin?
Oh, absolutely. I think from the very beginning, they just believed, and just we can remember the famous words of President Bush, I looked into Putin's eyes and I saw his soul. Now, you don't have to look in his eyes, you have to look at his record. He's a KGB officer, and that's, comes from Putin's mouth. There are no ex-KGB officers. And he rules the country without paying much of any attention to the rule of law, unless it fits him to push his own agenda. I wouldn't call him as an imperialist. He is more like an oligarch who is enjoying power and using power very wisely to enlarge the fortune of the oligarchs who are supporting him.
Now, this is kind of more on a personal line. As your work has obviously put you into conflict with the Russian leader, has there ever been a moment when you've been fearful either for your safety or your family, kind of?
I wouldn't call it a moment. I think it's
a condition.
It's more or less probably a condition, because the atmosphere in Russia is sickening now. So at any time I come back to my country, you may call it fear, because I don't believe there's anyone on this world could say that he or she doesn't have any fear, but it's our ability to cope with our fears. And I don't feel comfortable by being a part of this big rallies in Moscow while we're all surrounded by the police. Now, I'm comfortable to be with my friends and colleagues and activists that I don't know, and just the general public, but feeling that any moment, literally any moment, you could be harassed, attacked, arrested, and put in jail. I mean, that creates some shivers even for me.
Is it more, because obviously Americans just have no idea, for the most part, kind of what it's like to live like that. Have there been active threats, or is it just kind of this atmosphere of?
No, when I was arrested a few times, I spent, just by Russian modern standards, a mosquito bite, only 5 days in jail, beaten just lately at this.
I like how casually you.
But it's just, again, by the standards of Russian opposition, those are very, very modest accidents. But let's not forget, I'm still protected to a certain degree by my global fame. And what about thousands and thousands of unnamed activists who, as we speak now, might be harassed, attacked, interrogated, even arrested or tried by Putin's courts and put behind bars. So it's a one-way road, and Putin has a very clear record of squeezing Russian citizens of every inch of our freedom.
What do you see as your ability to help, like the Pussy Riot dissidents?
No, it's all we can do is just to speak publicly, and I think that the mobilizing the public, rallying public support, even in Russia, still helps. I think without this massive public support, these girls could be given much longer prison sentence, and even with Putin's contempt for the ability of the Western countries to influence events in Russia, it pays attention, because let's not forget the money of Russian elite kept not in Iranian or Chinese banks, not even in Venezuela. It's kept in a safety and luxury of Western Europe and the United States. And Putin, unlike classical dictators of the past, cannot push too hard. So he should understand there is a balance. And if this leverage is used wisely by the Western powers, I think there could be a certain positive effect in Putin's domestic policies.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck with your work, and enjoy the rest of the summer.
Thank you very much.